Latin terms,
these are not Latin terms. These are Greek terms.
Greek terms, right?
Persona and essentia, those are Latin terms, and those terms have been used in the Western Church today, which is completely fine.
Okay.
But the terms that I use, insofar as I like to be more historical with my explication of theology, would simply be ousia and hypostasis. So those terms are in the Bible, yes.
Okay, so go back. Where is it in the Bible?
It's fine, yeah. Let me just...
Show me again. This is talking in reference to the Trinity. Just as you asked...
You asked me...
One second, you spoke and I didn't interrupt.
If you're going to ask a question, that's
fine. As soon as I open my mouth, you start speaking.
No, the reason...
You can't have a discussion, SIIG, like this.
I think it's...
Let's see if he's all right. Can we try, only for the sake of discussion sake, yeah? So we don't speak over each other. If you stop me, yeah, if it's sensible, I can submit to that. If I stop you, just to, if it's sensible, I can submit to that as well, yeah? Just for the flow of discussion. Are you with me, SIIG?
I'm just trying to...
Are you with me? Hello, SIIG.
Yes.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm just getting the thing for you.
Okay, anyway, the whole contention was, was the word Trinity and the ideas found in the Bible.
Not necessarily.
You said...
Yeah, not necessarily.
Let's try to let each other speak, right?
But if you're
this is... No. This is exactly what you did just a few seconds ago. There hasn't been a single segment where I've spoken and you haven't interrupted me. Anyway, in regards to Tawheed, regards to the Shahada, again, I showed you in the Quran. Your claim is not in the Quran. I showed you it's in the Quran. You tried to discount the Sunni tradition. I showed you in the Hadith of Jibreel alayhi salam. It's also there. It's clear. The reading, the understanding, the words are there. The word Shahada is used. فَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. It says it in the Quran. Muhammad Rasulullah. It says that in the Quran. It says it in the Hadith of Jibreel where it says كُنَّ جَالِسٌ مَعَ رَسُولٍ. Anyway, go on. So from your claim against Islam was wrong. My claim against, my question to you was regards to the words used in the Trinity of essence and persons.
Yeah.
Where do you find those ideas in the way it's formulated in the Trinitarian creed in the Bible? Up to now, you've not been able to say it. You spoke. No. The moment I said it's a progressive revelation, you said, no, hang on, Hillary and these guys, the Cappadonians, it's not a progressive revelation.
That's not what I said.
It means it must be there from the very beginning.
It means that
you
it
mentioned
must be
one second. You were unable to substantiate on multiple times where these words that you make up for the Trinity, your whole basis of your belief is not there to be found in the Bible.
That I just need the
no, you didn't.
Yes,
I've asked you put your phone away.
That's the reason.
Why did you put your phone away?
Huh?
Why did you think I didn't notice?
To focus on what you're saying.
No, you wasn't focusing all this time. All of a sudden you focused.
Yeah, but I thought that
continue finding it.
Do you want me to pull on my phone and start focusing?
Find it, no problem.
That's fine. I mean, I can do the same. I can do hypostasis right now.
Look, but you done the same thing to me. I pulled it out.
I can show you hypostasis
You done this? No, in the Bible in regards to the Trinity, show us. Yeah.
I thought you stopped searching.
You will never be able to find the formulation of the Trinity in the Bible.
Will you be able to find the word hypostasis in the Bible?
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you when it's used.
Yeah.
It's used when Paul comes up to James, and James, who is a companion of Jesus, he goes to Paul and says, the people say, you have apostatized from the law of Moses.
I said hypostasis, not apostatized.
Okay, well, that's what I had. Let me finish. What is a
hypostasis? Hypostasis.
Do you speak Greek, by the way?
Underlying reality.
Do you speak Greek?
I don't speak mono Greek.
Okay, why are you putting on an accent for?
That's the way it's pronounced.
No, the way okay, go on.
I just want to be fair to the pronunciation.
Okay,
there might be Greeks watching.
That's important to you. Anyway, the point is, you still have not. I'm still waiting for you to pull up.
Hebrews 1:3 for hypostasis. I wanted to find.
That's not the New Testament. What's Hebrews got to do?
Hebrews is not the New Testament.
No. That's what
it is. It's the New Testament. What are you talking about?
Okay, sorry. Who wrote Hebrews? Who wrote Hebrews?
Hebrews.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, in regards to
nobody knows this is an unknown author. Don't play.
Can I finish?
Don't play.
Can I finish?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So this is very important. So the modern eclectic tradition would argue that it is unknown, insofar as when they look at the titles of the text, it wouldn't actually say Paul's name or something like that. However, according to the ancient tradition of the church, we would be able to substantiate through the writings of the fathers, that actually it was written by Paul, but Paul just did not emanate.
You know what pseudepigraphy is?
Yeah, but
you know what pseudepigraphy? Slow down.
Yeah, could you respond to the point that I said?
Slow down. Hebrews.
So what was the response that I gave you?
So the claim was that this word is found in Hebrews. Now my anti-claim or counter-claim is you don't even know who wrote Hebrews.
How does that have anything to do with
whether it's in the New Testament? How can someone who never knew, you don't know the author?
How does that have anything to do with whether it's in the NT?
Let me answer you.
Okay, that's fine.
It's pretty obvious. If I grab the book and say to you, this book says that this man is a tree, would you believe it?
I would believe the book says it.
No.
Yes. I would believe the book says it.
You don't know who authored it. How do you
Why
know
is it in the
that?
discussion?
SIIG, do you know?
Because the book
How
says-
do you know who? If you don't know who
How do
authored
I know that the
SIIG,
book says it?
SIIG,
It's in
SIIG,
there,
calm
you know?
down.
It's
SIIG,
like it's
SIIG,
in the
SIIG,
pages.
calm
So
down.
here's
That's
the
not
issue
my
that we have.
question.
You
That's not my
asked me,
question.
can I find
SIIG,
the term
again, you're talking
hypostasis
over
and
me.
usia
SIIG,
in
you're
the Bible?
talking over me.
So I got a
Okay,
place
go
in the
on.
New
Go on, go
Testament.
on.
So this is the issue.
Go finish.
You said
You've
you
not
asked-
answered
yeah,
again.
You asked me this. Can you find the terms hypostasis, usia,
In regards to the Trinity.
Yeah, good. So the
You still
regards-
haven't done
So
that.
the regards
You
to the Trinity.
haven't
Yeah,
done
I
that.
said Hebrews 1
No,
verse
no,
3.
you haven't.
That is where the
Okay,
term
no, you
hypostasis
haven't.
is used.
No,
So
no, in
this is
regards to the Trinity.
The Trinity is
Don't
a conception.
no, no.
In relation to that conception,
Okay.
hypostasis is found. Hebrews 1 verse 3 of the
Is
same
the question clear? Is the
hypostasis as
question
Father.
3? In regards to the Trinity, can you show
Yes.
me these words of essence
Yes.
and
The regard of the
persons?
Trinity is the
Now-
conception, isn't
now
it?
you're saying Hebrews, yeah? Let's say just grant for the sake of granting. I know it's not there.
It
Yeah,
is
yeah.
actually there.
It's not. It's not.
The hypostasis is there.
You don't know
For the
who-
camera, it's Hebrews 1 verse
Hebrews
3.
is-
Hypostasis is mentioned there. Thanks.
Excuse me. Can you
I
stop
just
over-speaking
want to
me?
let people know that
SIIG,
it's
can you
actually
stop
in there.
over-speaking me?
That's fine. Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
give you a chance to read from that verse, yeah? To show.
Okay.
To show.
It
yeah?
says hypostasis there. The word translated into
Again,
English is
is my
substance, but it actually
question
means an
clear?
underlying
In
reality.
regards to the Trinity, show me
Yep.
where these words, persons, and essence is there.
Hypostasis
He keeps on
and
changing
usia.
my question. We're going to see what it is.
Yeah, hypostasis and usia.
Now he
Yeah.
says, oh, it's in Hebrews. But then he what he doesn't want to tell you, though he knows, is that nobody knows who authored Hebrew.
Not
There
necessarily.
isn't a scholar worth his dime that says Hebrews were written by Paul.
There isn't a
Paul
modern-
has how many letters is there in
Yeah,
Paul's
there isn't a-
Bible?
there isn't-
Paul has a
Okay,
bunch
so
of
there
writing.
isn't
yeah,
anyone that uses
regards
reason and
to-
eclecticism.
Are you going to just talk all
I was
over
going to
me?
respond to the point.
No, you're not.
So there's
You
no one
haven't-
that.
Hello, I haven't finished.
There's no one that
hello,
uses
hello, I
reason
haven't finished.
Yeah, there's no
SIIG,
one that uses
SIIG,
reason and
SIIG, are you going to be
eclecticism
rude
to
all the way
argue
through
that
this
point.
discussion?
You're just accusing me of being
SIIG,
rude
are you
anyways,
going
so
to
look.
be rude throughout
Is there
this
anyone
discussion?
that mentions, all right?
SIIG,
Okay.
SIIG, SIIG,
So there are people
okay.
in
Can you
reason
show us, SIIG,
eclecticism
SIIG?
that
Let's
are
go
agreeing with
back
what you're
to the
saying.
discussion.
But,
Show
however,
us now
it does not mean
where
that those
this
are the only
Trinity,
scholars worth their
essence, and
salt.
persons, these terminologies you use for the idea of the
I sh-
Trinity,
in
that
the
there is
Bible,
three
right?
persons in one essence in the Bible. give you the
Yeah,
ground. Go
Hebrews
ahead.
1 verse 3, which
Read
is
it,
in
read
the
it,
Bible.
read it,
Yeah,
read
it's
it. Go
fine.
on.
So this is important. Before I open up the
Don't
text, I
preach,
want to
just,
say something.
get
I'm
to
not
the point.
preaching, I'm giving the
Please.
same amount of conception that it's saying. Again, remember, if you say...
The verse, the verse.
That's fine.
The
If you're
verse.
saying in regards to the Trinity, that means in regards to the conception of the Trinity. One of the points of conception of the Trinity is that the Son is equal in essence to the Father, or that he is begotten from the Father. Okay? If I can find that conception,
That's not what the Trinity
is
is.
part of
That's
the
not.
Trinity.
That, I'm not saying part
So
of the
the-
Trinity.
yes, the
I say
conception
no.
of the
That's
Trinity.
not the Trinity. Wait. Do you know what the Trinity is?
Part of the
Wait. Do
conception
you know
of
what
the
the Trinity
Trinity?
is? I need to
Yes.
understand this.
Yeah,
Okay. What is the Trinity?
good.
No. You're gonna bring
yeah,
that out.
yeah,
Don't
that's fine,
change
that's fine,
it. This is
that's
like the
fine.
fourth time you tried to hide
No,
that.
the only reason is that I can
Explain.
focus on
Okay.
answering
Explain
you,
what
right?
your
Because I use my hands
understanding
a
of the Trinity
Alright.
is.
So the understanding of the Trinity is as
one
follows.
second. Let me just finish.
That
Hello.
God is
Hello.
one in usia,
Hello.
and
Stop
that he is three
preaching.
in
Stop
hypostasis.
preaching.
That
I'll
is
give you
actually what I'm
time.
saying.
1 second, SIIG.
You
I'll
ask
give
me
you
a question,
SIIG,
and then as soon as I open
SIIG,
my mouth,
SIIG,
you need to clarify
SIIG,
something.
Let me refine the question.
Oh, okay, that's fine, you can refine the question.
We want to know what your definition of the Trinity is.
I was literally about to say that.
Yeah, I know, but you don't need to talk over me. You know?
I just
Go on,
elevated
go
my
on.
voice for the
And
camera.
leave the preaching aside, SIIG. Go
I'm
for
not
it.
preaching, it's
Show
fine,
us from the
please.
Bible this Trinity.
Yeah, so let me show you from the Bible one of the conceptions.
And that's
of
not the
Trinity.
definition of Trinity by any standard or stretch, by the way.
What?
The definition of Trinity. Show me.
It's not
three.
that God is one in usia and three in hypostasis?
Okay, no, that's fine. But
Yeah,
what
so-
else
so
is
this
it? That they
okay.
are?
Yes, that. And
That
it's
they
very
are what?
important that one of the persons is begotten from the Father,
Okay.
one of the persons is unbegotten, and one of those persons is also spirated from the Father. Some articulate from the Father to the Son, doesn't really necessarily matter. Now, the
Oh,
old-
so.
I'm gonna
So
say-
I'm
I'm
a
gonna-
bit
I'm
slow.
gonna
I
say
just want to.
more.
I'll just
I'm
slow
gonna
down.
say more.
Begotten. I just want to understand that. Begotten according to you, unbegotten. Yeah.
Begotten in one.
It's not preceded.
Unbegotten.
It's
Yeah,
not
there's-
preceded. No.
Yes, one precedes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah?
So
You never
this-
said that though, did
Yeah,
you?
I said one
Okay,
was begotten,
okay.
one was
One
unbegotten, and one precedes.
One
That's
precedes.
exactly what I said.
Okay. One
Yeah.
is one is begotten,
one is
and one
unbegotten,
precedes.
and one
But they're
precedes.
still all the same. Even though one is begotten.
In what respect?
One precedes.
In respect
but they
to
still.
usia.
1 second.
Yeah, in respect
but
to
they're still
usia.
all the same.
In respect to usia.
Okay, go on. What does usia mean for the camera?
Yeah. So
to
usia-
nature.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be translated to nature.
Yeah.
Some try to translate it to like essence or quiddity if you're a modern scholastic. Now, here's
What
the
does
issue. I
nature
think.
mean? Let's acknowledge nature.
No, not necessarily.
Knowledge isn't nature.
So no, knowledge
is eternity.
Hold on, this is important, right?
Yeah.
So when you say knowledge is nature, I don't think you're making some
A
sort
part
statement
of nature.
absolute. Yeah, I wouldn't.
You know what I
necessarily-
mean, Sig?
No, I'm
Come on, all of
clarifying.
this
That's
playing
why I
about.
asked you, man. That's why I
Is
asked you.
knowledge a part of a person's nature?
Again, you're
if I
you're
say you are,
asking
for
me to
example,
define
if I
what
say you
nature
are all
means,
knowing,
right? So, yeah,
if I say, for
hold on,
example,
this is the
Sig,
point
you're
I'm
not
saying.
understanding the question.
You want me
Sig,
to answer your
yeah,
question,
but
so
I
I'm
have
going to
to
answer
clarify
what
because
nature
you're answering all
means,
these
right?
other stuff. If
So
I say
do you want me
a
to
person,
answer the question of what
listen,
nature means?
Sig,
Do you want me to
calm
answer the question
down,
of what nature
calm
means?
down,
I'm very calm. The
If I
term
say-
nature
if I say
means
you're-
whatness. It's actually identical to quiddity. It's fine, calm down. So the term nature means quiddity, right? What a thing is. So what a thing is can't necessarily be for us Christians. We would say that what God is, right, is
He's not all-knowing. That's not what he is.
No, that's a,
See, this is what I'm saying. You trip up on.
Hold on. I'm just going to
Is
answer the question.
all-knowing. If
I'm
God is
just gonna answer the
all-knowing,
question,
is that
that's
part
fine.
of his nature or
Right,
not?
it is part of what he is as well.
No,
but
I'm asking
yes.
you very clear question.
Yeah, that's
if
what I'm
God
saying.
is
So-
all-knowing, is that
So
part of his nature?
Yes, but there is also certain
Yes or
respects.
no?
Okay, hold on. So there are certain respects.
You're
of which
skipping
we can
over
say,
it, and you know
I
the
didn't
answer.
skip over anything.
You know the answer.
I'm just answering the
Sig,
question for you.
Sig, is
so
it yes
when we
or no?
say that God is hold on. So when we say that God is his nature, right? His usia.
No, God is his nature.
Yes, God is his essence. Is God not his essence?
Who's he? If God, how can
God is his nature. Is that what
God
he
is his nature?
Yes.
Godliness, you mean, is his nature?
No, God is his nature. So when we use the term God, that can be in reference to the essence. Now, at the same time, right, it can also be used in a nominal sense, as in to name something. And it can also be used in the sense of the actions that God may display in the world. Now, here is the issue at play.
What are you answering?
What?
What are you answering?
I'm
What's the
answering
question? What's the question?
On what nature meant. That's
No,
what
that's not what the question
yes,
is.
that's the
no,
question
that's
that we
not
need to inquire
My
into.
question
We
was,
can't skip
is
over what nature
all-knowing.
means,
Look,
man.
say, don't make up questions and answer it.
I didn't make up
if
the
you
question.
make up questions and answering, what's that called?
If you don't
My
answer,
question,
hold on.
look,
If you
paperboy,
don't,
please, paperboy.
If you don't, why are you putting the paperboy? If you don't clarify
please,
your terms,
moderate a
of
little
what
bit,
nature
please. Because he's a Christian, I'm struggling with this conversation. Huh?
Okay, we can time it, please. Yeah, time it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
From the beginning, at least both.
Yeah, I said that but there's no necessary need, right?
No, there's definitely a need. There's definitely a need.
Is it 2 minutes?
O-U-S-I-A.
2 minutes each.
No, don't ask him for help. You're the one that made
No,
the
it's
claim.
just-
you know what
it's-
I'm
no, it's
saying?
just because
when
my
you
data's
put
really
on
bad.
me
I have
and you
4G,
said,
but
where
not-
is it in the Quran? I gave it to you.
Yeah,
when
no,
you
but
said,
that's
where is it in the Sunnah? I gave it to
Hold on.
you.
The reason why I-
and you said,
hold on. The
and you
reason-
put away your phone good 7 or more
because
times.
I found one of the terms
no.
for you. So the
you
issue
can't
that we
have a
have is-
standard for someone and not for
Yes,
yourself.
I have the same standard
anyway,
applied to
my
myself.
If
However-
I'm yeah, let's
Hold
go
on, I just
minutes.
wanted to clarify
You got
something.
no,
right? So
you got 2 minutes.
The
2
only
minutes,
reason
2
I
minutes.
asked Paperboy
I'm gonna
for the
time this.
definition,
You got 2
I actually
minutes.
gave him where he could find it. In the Strong's
It's starting.
Concordance list, the term usia is found, okay? All I'm doing is just asking Paperboy, could you just hurry up and find the term usia in the Strong's Concordance? That's it, because I know it's there. Now, I also found the term hypostasis. Hypostasis is used in Hebrews 1 verse 3. Now, usually people translate the word hypostasis to substance, but really it's actually more akin to an underlying or concrete reality. That term is used in Nicaea, for example, where it says, he's of the same essence of the Father. That usia is used, for example. And when
a different word.
and when the Cappadocians articulate what it means for Christ to be of the same, one of the persons of the Trinity, they use the term hypostasis and use Hebrews 1 verse 3 as their justification, because that is actually part of what they believe. The threeness is in the respect of hypostasis, right? That term in Hebrews 1 verse 3 and in other places in the Bible. Now, I just gave you one of them, and then you try to do some random thing about why, you don't know who wrote that. Wouldn't matter anyway about, are we...
Should I do a minute?
No,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, you got 1 more minute left.
Oh,
Speak,
right.
speak, speak.
Yeah, so again, asking me, you don't know who wrote that text, has nothing to do with whether the text itself says it. For example, if I found a random book in a forest and it says, horses are blue, if I don't know who wrote the book, that's irrelevant to whether that text in the forest says, horses are blue. We are talking about whether that text says something, not who wrote that text. That is true. You asked me for my conception in X text, not where did X text come from. It's a random fallacy that you're kind of just trying to sweep in, right? Sort of like a hockey thing, you know what I'm saying? So here's the issue that we now have at hand, okay? And before we conclude, we're going to say this, okay? The conception of the Trinity is all I need to find. I don't need to find the term Trinity in the Bible. The earliest form of the word Trinity is in the words of Theophilus of Antioch in his Authorship, okay? That's actually where it's in 186 AD as well, very early on before the time of Jesus, right towards the end of the 2nd century. And the conception of the Trinity is not just found in Scripture, but in the apostolic tradition as well. That is what I'm defending, okay? Not, you must believe in the Trinity.
Time.
Sorry, my friend, yeah, go on.
There you go, bro. Hebrews 1:3.
What was it? Hebrews 1:3 you said?
Hebrews 1:3?
I'll find it for you. I'll find
No,
it.
it's in Hebrews 1:3.
1:3, yeah? Okay.
Thank you.
All right, starting,
okay.
starting the clock now.
Okay, so the request or the demand from SIIG was very simple.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard. He made the request from us. Where's the Shahada in the Quran? I gave him that, and I also told him it's in the Sunnah. It's available, and he didn't back down. He then changed it. If any of the cameras there, he changed his request saying, "Oh no, but I want the wording to be like this and this and that." The Shahada comes in many forms, and it's there in the Quran. It's in there in the Sunnah. My request to you was very simple. I say that the Trinity was an idea which referred to the scholars, and I gave you the names of scholars, as a progressive revelation. Yes, it is. And you said no, there are some scholars, and I gave you a list of scholars. Some scholars that say no, it's not a progressive revelation. If something's not progressive, it means it was there from the very beginning. You said Hilary, the Cappadonian fathers. If this is true, this is what you said.
So not interrupt.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
So
my fault. I
if
apologize. Sorry, I have to apologize to the camera because I did interrupt him. Apologies for the interruption. Go on.
if they say that this is not progressive revelation, they have to say it's in the Bible. You were given multiple times to give these references and these verses. The one in regards to the Trinity, the question was clear. Essence and persons in regards to the formulation of the Trinity. Okay. I'll read for you what you mentioned because you didn't read it. It was found in Hebrews. Now the author of Hebrew is unknown. We don't know who the author of Hebrews is. It is not Paul. If you take your theology from an unknown author, then it does matter. You need to know who your author of your book or your writing, which you claim is revelation, is before you take it. Here, I'll read it. Since you didn't read it. Because remember, the Trinity, we gave him the opportunity to explain what the Trinity is. It's one essence in three persons, but there's more. This one is preceded. I'll let him read it. Because one is preceded, one is begotten, and one is uncreated. I'll give you to read. Go on.
Oh, you're going to read it in English?
No, you could read it in Latin.
No, that's fine. No, I don't read the Latin manuscript, it's fine. So it says this, right?
So
So
what
I'm going to
language?
read the English. Oh,
Your
really?
time is now, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Hey guys, I have two phones. Doesn't necessarily matter, but it's fine, right? I'm going to read it out in English, okay? And then I'm going to hone in on one word. And that's the word that I'm banking on for some reason. Hebrews 1 verse 3 says, "The Son is the radiance of God's glory and the exact representation of his being, sustaining all things by his powerful word. After he had provided purification for sins, he sat down at the right hand of the majesty in heaven." Now, this is the only time I'm going to allow him to be speaking my time. That word right there, that says substance, what does it say? Just read it out for the camera.
Substance, you just said
No, in the Greek, right there. You see that transliteration? What does it say? Just read it for the camera.
hypostasios.
Thank you very much. So, that word, hypostasios, is actually the term hypostasis. Right, so the term hypostasis, like you just read, is in the Bible, but obviously it's in Greek, it's not in English, right? The term translated for substance right there, or being, for example, they translate it to hypostasis. It's come to be known as an underlying or concrete reality. Now, my good friend Paperboy over here, he was able to help me, not necessarily help me, because I told him where in the concordance, to find the word ousia. The term ousia is also mentioned in the Bible. According to the Gospel of Luke, it also says the word ousia. All I needed to show was that the terms that I use to describe my conception of the Trinity is in the Bible. Now, I also use the apostolic tradition. Not limited, including but not limited to Basil of Caesarea, Basil the Great, right? Cyril of Alexandria, Cyril of Jerusalem in his catechetical lectures, which are very important. Athanasius the Great, and other individuals who I can't be bothered to name, and they will come around later. The point of this contention was as follows. So long as I can find the concept in the book I believe in, doesn't matter who wrote that book, because that's not what we're talking about. If you want to make an authorship debate, I'm very happy to do that, but that's not the question at topic. I'll refer you to my final example.
Why?
If I find a book over there in those section of trees, and it says, horses are blue, right? Does it matter?
10 seconds.
Oh, does it matter if that person, if we know that person wrote it? No. All it matters is that that person, whatever book it is, says horses are blue. That's the actual topic of discussion.
And this is what Christianity is in a nutshell. You have books written by multiple people in multiple regions, and we don't know who wrote it, when it was written, and to whom it was written. You have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. We don't know who the authorships of these books are. There are only suppositions about who Mark was, to the point that even John, which has the highest Christology, we don't know if it was written by a single person or community. So there are scholars also that mention mentioned that John was written by a community of believers, and then the book later was titled as John. And this is the case with Hebrew. We don't know who wrote the book of Hebrews, but he's still happy to take this as his scripture and say, this is my belief. This will not uphold in any core or Islamic sciences as well. We need to know in hadith who said what and from who, and does it go back to the prophets? And that's why the very point that we make is the Trinity never goes back to any of the prophets. Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, he only ever said there's one true God. And if you see also in the Hebrew that he mentioned, it also mentions that there is one God, one true God, and there's one mediator between man and God, and that mediator is Jesus. So you have God, and then you have the mediator. So you're there telling me what some unknown author said. Read the author properly. Not one single author of the New Testament, their theology is in line with Trinitarian theology. John does not hold your theology. Mark does not hold your theology. Luke does not hold your theology. None of them do. Mark has the lowest Christology. John, which is the latest written in Ephesus, has the highest Christology. And not only that, it calls Jesus the Logos. And the funny thing is, if the original author originally put this word there, Logos, why didn't all the other people before Mark write about Jesus being a Logos? Because this idea came many years after. It would make no sense if Jesus was the Logos that he wasn't mentioned as a God before that.
Thanks, man. Just to clarify something, guys. Okay, just to clarify something, guys, I'm gonna have to speak very quickly because we're on a timer, okay? So, remember back in them times, remember that he asked me whether I can find the term usia and whether I can find the term hypostasis in the Bible. Now, if you want my source, you have my very good man here who provided the term hypostasis because he read it out for you guys. And we also provided the term usia. So, just for you to jump in quickly, was the term hypostasis and usia in the Bible?
What was my question
in the Bible?
What was my question again?
Yeah, whether those terms were in the Bible.
What was, no, that's not what my question.
Trinity,
you change it
in regards
to the Trinity. And you keep putting that statement out.
Okay, cool.
You keep on dropping and you do it on purpose.
That's fine.
This is like the third or fourth time
I just asked you whether those words were in the Bible.
But that's not what what's my original question?
Just answer whether they're in the Bible.
What's my original question?
Are they in the Bible?
It doesn't matter. What's my original question?
So they're in the Bible. So this is the
you see, you have to depend on that.
In regards to the Trinity, let's define for you guys what I believe the Trinity is. The Trinity is a doctrine that maintains as follows: that God is one in usia, which is translated as substance or essence, depending on necessarily whether you're a Greek or Latin father, and that God is three in hypostasis, which is a concrete or underlying reality. Now, if I take the term hypostasis or hypostasis, that must be in regards to one of those hypostases. In Hebrews 1 verse 3, it says that the Son is the character of the Father's hypostasis, meaning the exact image of the Father's hypostasis, which is one of the very core doctrines of Trinitarian belief. One of the core doctrines of Trinitarian belief is that the Son's hypostasis, right, is of the same essence or the exact representation of the Father's hypostasis. That's basic Trinitarian belief. Now, I've shown you that in regards to the Trinity. The term usia is being used for substance or being or existence in certain respects. If I can show you that that term means what I've said, then I can apply it to the Trinitarian life, I can apply it to the Trinitarian notion, and actually my opponent would have nothing else to say on that issue, which is why he's changing it to a historical debate.
Yeah, my question's always been the same from the beginning. I haven't changed it to historical anyway. So anyway, in regards to nature, I asked you, what does nature mean? I asked you clear in front of the cameras and the persons here. Are you going to keep on interrupting?
I was going to answer.
Okay, let's be a bit polite.
Do your time.
Yeah, nature is all-knowing part of nature. And you knew the answer. No, you knew what the answer was, but you fumbled because you knew you didn't want to admit it. To have knowledge is part of a person's knowledge, nature. If I say you are all-knowing, then that is part of your nature. Jesus did not have this part of the nature. He said he grew in knowledge. When he was asked in regards to the fig tree, he did not know the season. So when he was asked about the last hour, he did not know. He said, no man knoweth the hour, apart from God the Father. Even if you would say, okay, he humbled himself, what about the Holy Spirit? The only one who knows the last hour is God the Father. The Holy Spirit is part of the Trinity. Why does he not know the last hour? did he also submit himself? Why did he submit himself? Did he humble himself? Well, we've asked about these words that they use for the Trinity, and we haven't found the answer in regards to the Trinity.
I did.
When we say the Son to who? The Father, both of eternal. How can you have two beings who are eternal? And one is being called Son, and one is being called Father. It makes no sense. If both had the same beginning, one cannot be under the other. What does Son even mean if you have two eternals? If all of them are spirit, before Jesus came to earth, he was a spirit. The spirit is spirit, and God is a spirit. Why do you call only one of them a spirit, and the other ones you don't call a spirit?
Okay.
If there were all three of them, if all three of them are equal, why is it that one proceeds from the other? One is begotten and one is uncreated. These are core things that make up a nature of a thing. If I say you are unbegotten and I say you are begotten, these are two differences in natures. This is the...
No, it's not. It's a difference in hypostasis. Okay, cool. So as you can see, he's basically just moving to either a logical debate or a debate on the history of the Trinity. I have sufficed to be able to show you the conception of the words that I use in regards to one of the conceptions of the Trinity that I showed you in the Bible. So let's attack what necessarily
There is no hour. It's sa'a. Sa'a means time. And Bora will be
After.
the hour are lies.
Hey, I can't lie. I'm rude, but that guy, mad. But it's calm. Nah, I'm joking. I'm not. But look, I don't know why I put my arm around you. I just felt comfortable. But look, so
I stopped the clock.
what I'm gonna do now is basically.
Should we? Because I wanted to speak.
Yeah.
Let me know when you want to discuss as well. Yeah. If you feel you want to jump in.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, this is
continue,
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
continue?
Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna present to you now is how a text is meant to be understood. So we have a book, that's fine, but we also are gonna inquire into how that book is meant to be understood in Christian tradition. I'm going to show you one of the bishops of Alexandria who has apostolic succession back to St. Mark himself specifically, who actually explicates on this doctrine, specifically on Jesus growing in wisdom. So it says this: to say that the child grew, this by the way is in Sermon 5 of Cyril of Alexandria's commentary on the Gospel of Luke. It says this: to say that the child grew and grew strong in spirit, being filled with wisdom, and the grace of God was upon him, must be taken as referring to his human nature, because we believe in the hypostatic union. Christ is one in hypostasis, that is true, but he is also two in feces or nature. There are two feces of Christ, one divine and one human, and the hypostasis does actions according to each. So when it says that the Christ grew in wisdom, he did those actions in accordance to his humanity. However, Cyril, because this commentary is very long as you can see, provides another understanding of how this is supposed to be understood. That, and it's very important, that as Jesus Christ in his humanity grew up, he showed more of his divine self, of who he was as God, of who he was as the Lamb of God and so on. So much so to the point that when Jesus Christ finally did die on the cross, a pagan centurion was able to say, this man truly was the Son of God, because he was enlightened and had his eyes opened by Jesus. Now, what I've been able to show is an adequate understanding of how that text is meant to be understood. Second of all, in my next response time, I will go into actually the eunomian premise that this guy tries to substantiate with actually no evidence. I'm so sorry, man.
So I mentioned Son, I mentioned the meaning of Father, I mentioned the meaning of Spirit. You said that these weren't theological things, which is strange. Yeah. You said historical, I'm taught. It's a theological thing. This is the crux of your Trinity definition. What is the Father? What is the Son? What is the Spirit? What does the word mean proceeded from? What does the word mean begotten? What does the word mean unbegotten? Don't tell me these aren't theological. These are theological concepts which is found within your Trinity. You are unable up until now to show us what I requested from you in the beginning. You spoke a whole load. You spoke about this and you used all of these theological terms. Your language, oh wow, it's amazing. But you haven't substantiated. You haven't substantiated anything. Even in my last point, you can't tell us what Trinity is or even nature. Nature, you can't tell it. Knowledge is part of nature. If
you want me to respond to that first?
Well, let me finish, isn't it? Yeah. If you can't tell me what nature is, you can't tell me what Trinity is. That's it, and that's the difficulty. You lot go around preaching the Trinity, and you know that the scholars of your Christianity say it is a mystery. If it's a mystery for you, it's a mystery for all non-Christians.
You mean modern
You
eclectics?
cannot tell us what these definitions are, because I've read what the scholars say, and they say this is what it means about with the word mystery. The Trinity is a mystery, and it's the way to cover your eyes from actually understanding that this makes no sense. Jesus was very clear, there's only one God. All of the prophets before him, there was only one God. The companions came to Jesus' companions, the apostles, he's talking about the Apostles' Creed, came to him and said, they said, what do, excuse me, stop the prayer. Stop.
I'm sorry,
You
I
keep
just didn't
doing
talk
it, you
about
keep
that.
doing
That's
the
my fault.
SIIG.
Yeah, but don't say that I talked about something I
You
didn't
said
talk
the
about.
apostles, you said...
I said apostolic tradition, not the Apostles' Creed. What are you talking about?
Apostolic, what does apostolic mean? What does it mean? What does apostolic mean?
Pertaining to the apostles.
Apostles, thank you.
So when did I say Apostles' Creed? Tell me.
You said that.
Anyway, so you didn't actually say Apostles' Creed. You
stop,
waffled about something.
stop. You're just making.
Yeah, but you're saying stuff
you're making yourself look silly.
I see,
you're
I
making
see.
yourself silly.
And you're lying on
that. No, I'm not.
Yes, you
it's
are.
there on camera.
Yeah,
Let
the
the
camera
people
will
who are
show that
smart
I never
enough.
said-
SIIG. The people
on camera will know I never said Apostles' Creed. If you're going to appeal to me being like angry, I'm not.
SIIG, calm down. Stop
I'm
speaking
completely
over me.
fine. I'm completely
I'll
fine.
let you speak.
I'm
This
completely fine. Just don't lie on me,
Paper
please.
boy, can you jump in? I can't continue like this, though.
So you don't want to talk to me anymore?
No, I can't. It's become unbearable.
Yeah, just continue, man. I'm unbearable. It's okay.
Okay, let's make this I'll give him the last 2 minutes and another 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna stop it. Yeah, because it's going nowhere. Jesus, the people came to Jesus.
I'll stop moderating. You can just both.
Yeah.
But he's going to speak over me.
Don't worry, I won't speak. I won't speak.
You can't. You haven't been able to not do that all the way through.
It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So when the people came to Jesus, Jesus said,
it's fine.
"Who do you say I am?" They said they didn't. They said you are the prophets. You are Moses. You are this and that. Not one of them said you are God. This is what the apostles believed. When Jesus apparently died according to you, the ones in Acts, the 120 believers, they prayed only to one God. Read James what he said. The devil worships one God, good. Even we worship, you worship one God, good. Even the devil worships one God. This is a testimony of James, who is supposed to be apostle to Jesus. The one that held the Council of Nicaea. He was the head of the apostles. James, the brother of Jesus. He worshipped only one God. And you read, no.
Because you're not on time, so I just wanted to clarify.
Okay, so let me finish. I'll give you your time.
It's just on James and Nicaea.
Sure. Let me just finish and then I'll give it to you. Yeah. So you read, in fact, they were referred to as the Jesseans, the early Christians. After the period of No. See, this is what happens when you try to laugh. No. See, again, this is what they don't know. You know, you don't know, and you're trying to laugh and mock it, but it comes back to you. They originally called Jesse because Jesse is the son of David, and they took this name from Jesse, David's son. Yeah, Jesseans. Yeah, and they were the companions of Jesus were originally referred to as Jesseans. Epiphanius of Salamis says this in his Paneras. Now, Jesseans later became known as the Nazareans. Yeah, and they later become the Ebionites. And these people have a tradition which goes back to Jesus saying what? Worship only one God. And all of them were Jews, and Jesus was a Jew. And if Jesus saw you worshiping to him, he would not know what you're doing. He would say you're doing blasphemy. And that's the truth. If Jesus was here right now praying to God like how the Bible said he did, on his face, if any one of these Christians saw him, they would not pray to him, rather they would join Jesus and pray with Jesus to the one true God, which Jesus has always spoke about, and all of the messengers before Jesus. And you see that God says that in the Old Testament, even Jesus says it in the New Testament, and this is what we say as Muslims in the Quran. You can reply from.
Okay, cool. So you made a bundle of necessary errors. So the first error that I would.
Are you cameraman or you a debater?
You're not Christian and you're making stories out.
Hey bro, it's alright man.
Like what?
So the first
we're talking.
So I want to point out the first error that I feel I see that you may have made. So the first error that you seem to have made was associating Saint James the Just with the Council of Nicaea. I don't know if you're going to retract that, But yeah, James the Just had no partaking in the Council of Nicaea. As we know, James died in the 1st century. The Council of Nicaea was in 325. There was a prior council in 321 that was hosted in Alexandria where they did kick out Arius. 325 was just confirming what the world already knew. Now, the issue that...
Want me to still moderate this or?
Nah, it's okay.
I'll give him the...
Yeah, it's final word, isn't it? for
But
me,
but
right?
James is he's the one that held the Council of Nicaea when he called Paul. You know that?
No, sorry, hold on.
Council, yeah,
Jerusalem, not Nicaea.
sorry. I said
Thank you
Nicaea.
so much.
Jerusalem. Thank you.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about. You pretend.
Now
you
I
don't.
know what you're talking
Okay.
about. I
So
genuinely
it's the
thought you
same
were saying
James.
Nicaea.
It's the same James. Yes?
James the Just
He was
did-
an apostle.
He was an apostle.
Okay, thank you very much.
So James the Just did hold the Council of Jerusalem, but that had nothing to do with Trinitarian theology because that wasn't actually a pertinent issue. The pertinent issue wasn't on the being of God; it was actually on converting to the faith.
That's
in the
not
first
what we
place.
said.
That's
Why you
fine.
keep
That's
going
fine.
on to other things?
I didn't interrupt you.
Yeah, but that's the
So
only
you're
time you
interrupting
did.
me?
You've
No,
interrupted
I've
all the way
interrupted
through.
you all
That's
the time,
why.
so I'm
Yeah.
going to finish, right? So
But it's got nothing
the
to
issue
do.
that
You
we
keep
have- hold on,
waffling
the
about
issue that
every
we
other
have is this.
subject.
So when we talk about the essence of God,
What is he talking about?
Let him finish.
Okay.
okay, so cool. So when we talk about God with His essence and God with His nature, right? You want to talk about whether knowledge is part of nature. I accept that knowledge is part of what it is to be God. That is fine. However, the term know that is used, for example, in Matthew 24, verse 36, doesn't necessarily mean an intellectual assent or proposition. It can mean that, but it isn't always restricted to that case. Case in point, 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 2 is a verse that is used by Paul, and he says the same word oidon, which is the Greek word for know. I did not know anything among you except for Christ and Him crucified. Now that term is used as a declarative verb to say that Paul did not preach anything or declare anything except Christ and Him crucified. So it is very well within the biblical scope to actually say that the term know that is used in Matthew 24:36 is actually used as a declarative verb. Also, we could say that even if it's used for this intellectual assent or proposition, Basil the Great, again in his letter 236, he also details exactly how this term is meant to be understood. That the Father is, because he is the first hypostasis of the Trinity, he would be the first good or the first one to know and pass that eternally hypostatically to the Son. That is the way that the verse can also be understood. Again, Athanasius of Alexandria also gives a third understanding of how this is to be understood, that it is referring to Christ's humanity principally. Augustine confirms this when he talks about the canonical rule that Christians in his day and in the days before have used for Scripture as well. Now, here's the issue that you also said about what it means to be unbegotten, what it means to be begotten, and what it means to be preceded. There was a slight fumble that you made with the words, that you tried to say that you kind of switched out the word unbegotten for uncreated, and I would disagree, right? Because just because you are begotten, it does not necessarily mean that you are created. But in order to be created, you would need to changeably.
What does unbegotten mean for you?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Unbegotten is identical to the term unoriginal, i.e., there is no other underlying reality that is
So if I say it's
responsible for
not
your subsistence.
original, okay, so what does that mean?
he's
Uncreated, yes?
Uncreated. Okay.
So if someone is responsible for you, that means you're created.
If something is the reason for your subsistence, it does not mean that your subsistence itself is created. There is no philosophical justification for that, unless you're arguing from this weird Neoplatonic.
So you check the definition of begotten. You check it, yeah?
Yeah, the definition of begotten
is that
has
it
to
is
be
also
applied in
created.
Christianity.
It is also
some
created.
people that
and
are,
some
okay, can I
associate.
finish? Is that okay?
Well,
I'm
I'll
gonna
let you
finish.
speak, isn't it?
No, I wasn't finished.
You,
No, of course I wasn't finished, right?
I'll speak to you after
so
this.
the
Go on,
term, so the term begotten, right?
At least you speak with.
Yeah.
No, but it's no point. It's no point.
yeah,
There's
but-
no
yeah,
point.
but-
You can speak. You can speak. I want to speak.
Very nice. Yeah, but finish
It's not
your...
you mean nice.
yeah,
It's cut me every
etiquette.
single
Yeah,
time.
but no, yeah, just...
He's cut me every single time. But the thing is, every time he's just going to change the topic and then
you're
preach.
almost done,
When did I change the topic?
Etiquette.
You talked about the Council of Nicaea, what the purpose
Because
was.
you said
The
it.
Council of Jerusalem, what the purpose was. No, that's not what I said. I said
because you
James
keep talking
proceeded over that. Because reason he proceeded over the Council
Has
of
that have
Jerusalem.
anything to do with the
No,
Trinity?
see, that's what I'm saying. Every time I
Yeah, but
speak,
he's
he
just
speaks.
kinda
I don't
doing
know
a
if he's got fire in him.
I'm kind of doing a wrap-up.
No, but every time I've spoken, you've spoken over me every single
Not
time.
Yeah, but let me
And it's
just...
like it's in this weird sarcasm you got
but just let
going
him
on.
finish his wrap-up.
Okay, no, but okay, finish in the camera, go on.
So, look, when you're saying unbegotten, right, this is a eunomian premise, right? Eunomius was one of the bishops because he tried to argue that unbegotten is identical to the term uncreated, and because Christ is begotten, he is created. Now, the Church Fathers clarified that the term begotten in Scripture has a dual usage. It can mean begotten in the sense of having given birth to in a created fashion, and there's a variant in that insofar as when it's applied to the Son. But the term
What
monogenes,
is
which
that?
means only begotten, right? Monogenes, that means of your own kind or of your own
I'm not not talking only begotten.
Yeah.
Begotten, but
Yeah, the
that's
term
just
begotten in application to the Son simply is a term that we Christians use to designate the procession of the Son from the Father.
Okay.
Has
See,
nothing
that
to do
doesn't
with
make any
creation.
sense.
Why does that not make
Unbegotten
sense?
is used as the designation for the procession of Father.
Son.
You
No, of the
haven't.
Son from the
Yeah.
Father.
Okay. What does procession mean?
Procession?
Yeah. What does procession mean?
Well, depending
Do you know
on
what I'm saying?
what procedure.
One meaning of one word depends on another word, and that word depends on the meaning of
So,
another
okay,
word.
so the
And you
term
end up with
procession-
this airy fairy. There's no definition.
I was going to tell you the
Are
definition
you
of the
gonna
term
look?
proceeding,
Are you
right?
gonna talk over? It's like you're not listening.
But you interrupted me.
Okay, look. No,
but you
no,
didn't
no,
kind of
that's
say-
silly.
ask
That's
him a
it.
question.
Yeah, but
I'm
thing is,
gonna
look,
finish.
that's just getting ridiculous. You're not listening.
Ridiculous, bro.
He's
You're
not
the one
listening.
that's trying
You're not
to leave the
listening.
conversation.
No, because I wanted to speak with paper.
Because you wanna stop talking
I've
to
always
me.
I've always had good discussions with him.
That's great.
With you throughout this whole discussion.
You've been
You've
making
managed to listen.
multiple blunders.
Even now, as I'm speaking, you're talking over me.
Yeah, because-
Finish what you're saying, and then I'm gonna speak. Right?
Okay, so unbegottenness again, right? If you want to talk about begotten, it means in a way that Son proceeds from the Father. A procession can be some
Okay, look,
sort of
I'm gonna talk to him. Sorry, I'm really sorry.
but I
But
wanna hear what
I'm
he
really
says as
sorry.
well.
Yeah, you listen to him. When you're finished, you speak to me. Yeah. But I'm done with this
So you're
conversation.
going away from me?
Yeah. I'm here, and I'm gonna continue discussion. Yeah, people. Yeah. Do your reference.
The last thing I want to say is how we can use it.
How's it going?
Let me just check this out because it'll pick up all your, it'll pick up every private conversation.
No, bro, you.
But when in application to the Son, it just talks about his incorporeal procession from the Father. I was going to say spiritual as well, but that's okay.
I don't know who this belongs to.
Oh yeah. Just normally clip them on
And that's why the Son can have the same essence as the Father. So you can say it's some sort of emanation.
Sorry about that, baby.
Let's unite upon heart.
Thank you, guys. If you ever want to have a discussion about Trinitarianism, if you ever want to have a discussion about you said you're the Panarian of Salamis, right?
No, I said
Epiphanius of Salamis. I just said Salamis, but that's fine.
I don't know.
So one thing to know about the Panarian specifically, we don't necessarily have
Do you
reason
want it?
why he mentions heresy.
All right.
No, just.
Also, whose microphones were these? Are these mine?
I had no idea.
The problem is, I don't feel the need to win. You get it? I'd rather hear what you got to say. This is about these terms.